I thought that looked wrong. Why is this field... Why is this field grass? What happened to our poplar? Okay, either I am honestly losing my mind. Something very wrong has happened on this map. Hey everyone, we are back here in East Vineland, New Jersey on Kubota Farm, and a lot of fun that I've been having here. So the good news is I have our fields back to what they were previously. Basically, we've got this large combined field that we did in canola, and our north field over there we did in canola. That's back in canola. I believe I also have them back to the same stage that they were at as far as growth stage goes, fertilization level, and pH levels. Our poplar field was a little more tricky, but I did get that back to where it should be, and I did not cheat. It still needs plowing, so we're still going to have a loss because I forgot to plow it before I planted the poplar. But otherwise, it's pretty much back to normal. The rest of the map, of course, is still suffering from whatever caused this chaos of all grass. And that's kind of the bad news, is I have no idea what mod or combinations of mods or what mod with this map or what caused it. It's going to be hard to figure that out. I did pinpoint the possibility of a couple mods that may have done this, and I've disabled them. I went back and looked at the videos, and around the time that we had this Grassageddon, I guess you would say, instead of Armageddon, it's definitely Grassageddon. I had enabled the Platinum DLC on this map. Now, why that would matter at all, I have no idea, and I don't really know if it is the cause. But that is one mod that is probably the most recent mod, in fact, around that time that I enabled was the Platinum Pack DLC, and it shouldn't matter because they're just a bunch of equipment. But I don't know. Another mod that I enabled was the cultivating mod, was the ability to use, to use cultivators as plows. I don't know why that would cause a problem. Maybe it did. And the real mower mod, but that's been enabled for quite some time, so I don't think that's the culprit. But regardless, I guess the only other bad news that I have, and it's not really for the farm as much as it is for me personally, is how in the world did I manage to not notice that our fields had turned to grass? I mean, I bet I looked and made a comment about this map being all grass 3 or 4 times, but it just never dawned on me to look at our own fields. That's my excuse. That's the only excuse I have is that it's just one of those things I didn't notice. And when I was selling silage on that last episode and drove across that field, I just, something didn't look right, and I thought, I'm driving over poplar, but this doesn't look like poplar. So, all right, that being all taken care of now, hopefully it will work its way through and we won't have to deal with it again. We did make some good money. We're at 407,000, almost 408,000, which is pretty sweet. I did complete our silage sales. So now we're in our storage barn. We've only got some 7,652 liters of straw, actually. The only other thing that was weird, and I don't know what caused this because it started working, is our production facility. I went back to it after saving our last after saving the game after I last recorded. I saved the game. I exited the game, came back into it. I went back to our production facility here, our grain mill plus, and I added 50, I think it was 51 or 52,000 liters of barley that we initially, I think it was 51,000 liters. I couldn't get it exact, but I got it darn close. And I took it over again and I dumped it and it worked fine. So I don't know why when I initially brought the barley over there, it didn't register, but it did the second time after I rebooted the game. So maybe that's something we'll just have to keep an eye on. Excuse me, sorry. Something we'll just have to keep an eye on for future. But our barley flour is currently processing properly. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, how exciting. So we are in January. Our sales are done except for wool. We do have um, a bunch of wool that we're going to be selling, but that isn't for another couple months, I guess. If I remember right, it's like April. Where's our deal here? And let's scroll down to wool. And yeah, April is the time frame we're going to be looking at for selling wool. And we'll have a pretty good amount of wool to sell. Also, if we look at our, excuse me, my throat's a little choppy. Our grass levels are getting a little bit low for our sheep. So we're going to need to get some grass to our sheep. Our pigs are doing okay. We don't have a lot of pigs, so they don't go through a lot of food. But our sheep do. We've got 500 sheep, and they're all hungry sheep. So what I thought we'd do real quick before we do anything else is fire up our little mower and see if we can't get at least some grass fed to the sheep. Maybe 5,000, maybe 10,000 liters, 1 or 2 loads full. So I think if we come down here, if I unfold our mower and lower the deck, and then if we select the rear bin, I can turn that on, and you can see the lift pickup. So the pickup is lowered, the rear bin is on, so it's actually going to be picking up the grass. And I think I can fire up the mower, and let's just see. We'll start off doing some mowing and see if it's picking it up or not here. And it is. So let's hop in the mow it. This thing really cruises. I usually actually set the cruise control to quite a bit lower than what it's capable of doing, just because it's just so fast that it gets almost hard to control. Hard to control unless I'm on a good long straightaway. But I really like this little zero turn from 83 Studios. Dave did a nice job with this. David always does a nice job with all of his mods. But this thing is pretty handy to have. You can see how it's still showing a little bit of side discharge, but it's actually not. It's all collecting into our rear collection bin. The only downside to this, like I said, is it's not as productive, or I don't know, as you know, a large mower. We can get a lot more done picked up for the sheep, but at the same time, it is pretty handy to have when you're just wanting to get some food to them in a pinch, or just for a while to get you through to your next big mow job, which we are waiting on through the winter here before our grass continues to grow, and then we'll be able to collect on our big field over there, which will be kind of nice. I think this thing can go like 21 miles an hour. That's not bad for a mower. The sheep are pretty interested in this. I think they're hungry. They're probably wanting to get fed. What am I hung up on here? Oh, I'm hung up on that. Interesting. So that was hiding there. I'm going to have to grab our Kubota. And this thing will pick up regular grass. So even if you don't want to mow, if you've just got some loose grass around, it'll pick it up. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know why it's not picking up that grass. It doesn't register it. I guess it's not registering it as the same. Uh-oh. Now I'm stuck. Let's see if lifting. Nope. Alright. Alright. I got us hung up. We'll have to do a little bit of pushing from the rear end here. Come on, get out. There you go. There you go. Alright. Get this bad boy fired up again. I think we can get this little chunk over here, though. If I can get close enough. Yep, we got her. So it's just weird. I did a lot of looking around on the mods. I really don't have a lot of mods enabled for this particular map. I've had a lot more mods enabled on other maps than this one, that's for sure. So yeah, I just don't. I don't have. And it kind of bugs me because I like to know. You know, I like to know what mods or mod or what caused it. Period. You know. It seems like it happened just around precision farming time. Not precision farming. Platinum DLC. So I just don't know. I don't know. That's the closest thing. And you know, the IT person in me always goes to what was the last thing you did, or what was the last. You know, oh, I think I ran over our shovel. What's the last change you made, you know, on the computer before it started acting squirrely? And it seems like, for me, the Platinum is the one that comes to mind. So, it could have been something earlier, and it just took, you know, and it just took a while for it to rear its ugly head. I don't know. Alright, almost full. We'll dump this guy off. I think we can pick up our grass that's been side discharged here. It's kind of weird. It discharges on this off the side, but it also picks up. Maybe I'm using it wrong. Maybe if I turn off, I don't know if you can turn that side discharge off. I don't think you can, because if you don't have it unfolded, it tells you that you have to unfold the mower. So if I fold it, yeah, then it just stops. So I'm not sure that there is a way to prevent that side discharge from going on there. Let's go ahead and dump our grass in here. And we'll take a look at our sheep. And we should start seeing them being a little bit happier. Let's grab one more load. Let's see. I don't want that. I want you on. And I want you lowered and on. Okay, it's not collecting. I must need to lower the pickup. V for lower the pickup. And it should collect now, I think. Let's see if it'll collect now. Yeah, it's collected now. Okay. Is it killing those? See, I turned off the real mower mod and it's still sucking up those bushes. That's interesting. I'm gonna verify that I don't have that, because I swear I turned that off or disabled it. So I'm gonna have to look and make sure. Actually, turn off loading wagon. Oh, it sees it as a loading wagon. Turn off mower. Yeah, the real mower mod is not enabled because we would have an option. Yeah, we'd have an option up there for turn on and off the real mower mod. So, not quite sure why it's chomping up those bushes. That's interesting. It's always hard to know, you know. Especially with scripting mods, and I know console players, you don't have to deal with it. Sometimes I'm sure you would want to deal with them because a lot of script mods are really, really nice to have. But a bad script mod can really cause the most problems out of any kind of mod. I mean, a bad tractor mod or a trailer mod or something like that. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just bad. And maybe if they're bad enough, they might crash your game. Maybe. But a bad script mod can really wreak havoc. And I've even seen a script mod before that has crashed a game and wrecked saved games, you know. So it's kind of tough, you know. It's hard to know when you're using them, and I'm just saying that only because I don't know what mod it was that caused this, and I don't want to be blaming any particular mod or modder, and certainly not the the modder that made East Vineland, because I think that it's fair to say that if the experience with the grass that we've had here, that would have been something you'd definitely hear about. Because a lot of people play this map, and I'm certain if that really truly is a map issue, that would have come out a long time ago, you know. All right, so we've got another 5,000. Actually, I just turned off that. I want to turn off. Hello. There's like 3 things to select with this mower. And let's get some more grass for our little sheepy. Make them a little bit happier. And I can always come back and do a little bit more. I really like this mowing. Oh, it's great. Do a little bit more mowing and get some grass for our sheep. I mean, worst comes to worst, we could always, I mean, I don't think grass bales are very expensive either. We can always do something like that if we had to, but I don't mind doing some mowing, you know. This game has, now it's got mowing simulator, lawn mowing simulator built into it, right? That's a game, I keep turning the wrong way. That's a game that I played for a while, Lawnmower Simulator. Kind of got into it for a bit, and then kind of becomes a little bit repetitive, you know. But a fun game nonetheless. So the next thing I was thinking we could do is decide a little bit on purchase of a field, or what we want to do with this cache. And this was kind of my thought here. See what you guys think. So I've wanted to get this field up here, field number 1, so that we can do a combo deal and get these things connected and get that out of the way. And that field's 260, almost 265,000. We could save up our money for that field. That's 573, but again, we're a little ways away from that. So it'd be a nice field to have, but at the same time, that one's not so bad. We could buy this one, but it would chew up pretty much the rest of the money that we have. So long story short, my thought was this field here for field number 1. And of course, now all the fields on the map are grass, so we're just going to be inheriting a grass field. Unfortunately, we're not going to score any other, pre-planted crops other than grass, but whatever, I guess. So if we purchase that, and then we talked about buying this little section here for the chickens. So I thought we would buy this guy here. It's unfortunate that the expected yield is only 97%, but it's not completely horrible. So let's go ahead and buy field 1. And let's also then go ahead and buy the soil information for it so that we have that. And just taking a quick peek at this field. It's 1.82 hectares, so just shy of 2 hectares. There was something else I thought I wanted to look at on here, but maybe not. Okay. Man, look at that. Our environmental score is going down and not up. I'm curious about that, and I'm wondering what impact it had when I had to redo these fields. I'm not really sure what to make of that environmental score. It almost makes me want to consider doing a reset. I just don't know if I want to pull the trigger on that yet. I'll think about that one. Maybe do it after I save the game and see what impact that does have on us, because I hate to do a reset and have it negatively impact us. It's just hard to know sometimes what impact some of these things have. So we do own field 1 now. We'll probably wait until we harvest the canola on field 2 before we do the join on these things. I think it's canola, right? Should be. Let's see here, canola harvested in June. That's right, so that we can harvest canola in June and turn right around and get corn planted on that back field is kind of what the plan is, I think. And then farmland, let's go ahead and buy this little 135 plot for 45. And that leaves us with 96, so about 96,500. Not too shabby. Nice to have some money still tucked aside for hired help and doing different things. And one of the things we can go ahead and do then is get this thing loaded up with chickens, since we own the chicken part of it now. So I was thinking, I don't know if this has ever been proven one way or the other, but I've always been told to have a couple roosters. Always have a couple roosters, because supposedly, rumor had it that egg production is better if you've got roosters. Does anybody know if that's true or not? Like, legitimately actually been proven true? But we're going to buy a couple roosters anyways. So we'll have just a couple of... He seems happy in there. And then I thought what we'd do is we'd just load this thing up. Just why waste time? Let's just get it pretty much loaded up with our more mature chickens right off the bat. So we'll buy 60 there. And we'll buy another 60 there. That gets us 122. Yeah. We'll buy another 60 there. So we're at 86. Boy, these chickens are very expensive. What's up, ladies? How you doing? Good to have you on board. Oh, it does open. Nice. So where are we at? 182. Let's go ahead and buy 60 more. 242. We'll buy another 60. 302. Yep. Let's buy another 60. Hey, we might as well go for it. 362. 422. I think that'll do for now. We'll leave some room for expansion. Something I thought was curious too now, and I think I looked at this before, on East Vineland with chickens, you've got more feed types. Typically, at least what I'm used to, when I had chickens on Elm Creek and and our chickens on Buchern, in fact, I think we had basically, I think it was just grain, honestly. But this is broken up a little bit differently for base food, grain, and sunflowers. So I don't know how much of an impact getting almost like the pigs, where you've got feed set up like that. So I don't know. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have or effectiveness on them, but we'll find out. Let's jump over to our trailer here because I think the first thing we need to do is get our chickens some food so that they don't mutiny on us and get starving Marvin. What do we have to feed them? We've got wheat and sorghum. Yeah, wheat, sorghum. Oh, actually we do have corn. Huh? Where did we get corn? Oh, we must have gotten corn from a contract that we did. Okay, because I don't know how else we would have gotten corn. Yeah, so scroll through here. Kind of took the long way, didn't I? Let's take some wheat over there. I think that'll be their grain. I don't know if I needed that much. Boy, I certainly don't think I needed that much. In fact, I'm going to dump some back out here. We definitely don't need... Don't go crazy on me getting caught up on our... Oh, good. Okay. Let's take about 17,000, what is that, almost 18,000 liters of wheat over to our little chickies. And see, that should apply to their grain, and then I don't know. I know we don't have sunflowers. Be curious to see what separates what their base food is necessarily all about either. Take a Brad, don't go that way. There you go. There you go. You should know your way home, for goodness sakes. So it's always, it's always interesting trying to figure out mod conflicts, and it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, if I'm being honest. It's not like, oh, right, there's a problem with a mod, great. I just try to approach it, like any other kind of troubleshooting kind of thing, and, just go through it systematically, one thing at a time, and basically I just went through all the mods that I had enabled. Like I said, not a lot of mods on this map, actually, comparatively speaking to what I often have. Don't go past in our house. But nonetheless, there must have been something that wasn't too happy. All right. Let's dump off some food for the ladies here. I'm giving them some wheat. Wheat's being applied to grain, of course. And actually, that's probably too much because, well, it does say total effectiveness is in the green, which is kind of interesting. Because I would think that it wouldn't be, since I don't have, the base food is 60%. So the chickens like wheat, barley, and sorghum. Doesn't really say what this considers to be base food, though. I wonder if sorghum would work as a base food. Not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit and just see. I'm assuming barley is gonna be. I'm assuming wheat, barley, and canola. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this. So I'm assuming that wheat, barley, and canola. I wonder maybe oats. Oats are usually horses considered. Oat is for horses mostly, though, right? So what would be a base food? Would it be canola or sorghum? It's asking for sunflowers specifically as well. Um, Interesting. Yeah, not entirely sure. I'll have to think about that one, figure that one out. But according to what, at least according to what that shows, effectiveness is in the green, so I guess that's all that really matters. As long as the chickens are eating, staying healthy, and laying eggs, that's all we care about. Something else we could add to the farm, if we wanted to, is we could add some beehives. I don't usually do a lot with bees, if I'm being honest, but seems like, I don't know, bees seem like they'd be kind of fitting on this map. I don't know why. You know, I don't know if there's a lot of bee. What do they call that if you're a bee person? There's a name for it, isn't there? I know there is. Sorghum. Let's just dump a little sorghum in here. Just for fun. I think sorghum is... It's not considered a grain crop, though, right? Sorghum's not a grain crop. At least I didn't think so. Wheat, barley, and canola and oats are grain crops, right? Let's go see what sorghum does. I guess at the very least, it's just a little more food that we can add on for our little chickens. At least we don't have to go very far to feed them. Hey girls, here to feed you a little more. Let's just dump a little in there. So if we look at what we're at with our little chickens here, all we've got so far is grain. I'm curious to see if this will add to the base. No, it's adding more grain. Okay. Huh. Then I don't know. Base might be... Maybe canola would be base? I don't know. I'm going to leave that open a little. I'm going to leave that the way it is because I want a little room to fudge around there so I can play with this a little bit offline, off recording. Because I'm kind of curious now to see what the expectations are there for the base food. But typically, right, if you are dealing with animals, like let's take a look at the pigs. Like you can see the effectiveness of the pigs is in the yellow because we don't have 50% base food. Now, base food for pigs is corn, I believe, right? Canola, sunflowers. And I know that I think base food for pigs is corn. And then you've got grain, which is wheat, barley, and canola. And then protein is sunflower and soybeans. And root crops is potatoes and sugar beets. Sorghum fits into, I forget where sorghum fits into, though. Is sorghum protein as well? Kind of forget. Just don't do them often enough or remember when I do have pigs exactly which one does what. I've also used pig food mixers before. You know, you can get mods where you can just load up some stuff and it blends up a nice combination of tasty pig food. I'm just going to dump this back into our silo for now so it's out of the way. And I think that's about it. So we are pretty well set, I think, for this episode. Um, Cautiously optimistic that things will continue to be okay here in East Vineland. Um, Fingers crossed that our poor little poplar will stay poplar and our canola will stay canola. And let's see what happens. I do think that we are going to have some serious, some seriously interesting contracts coming up here in the next few months. I think we're going to see a lot of bailing, a lot of bailing contracts. Oh boy. Well, the good part is they do pay well. So maybe that's a plus. If we want to do some contracts, we're probably going to be grass farming for quite a while in East Vineland until maybe the map will straighten itself out and we'll start seeing new crops spring up. Boy, I don't know though. Super curious. But hey, everyone, thanks for joining me again here in East Vineland. I do appreciate it. Leave a like if you like the video and if you like the series. Subscribe if you feel like it. Most importantly, let's take care of ourselves. And even more importantly, let's take care of each other. And I will see you back here Wednesday on Kubota Farm. Thanks, everyone. We'll see ya.